not to tell a story, but some of the things I saw out there this year, but there's something that I just cannot help but telling a story. We were getting ready for the game that was against Westlaco, and Coach definitely decided to work on his goal line plays, figuring we were going to have a hard time getting in, and so he wanted to go ones against one. So the defense lined up, the offense lined up, and we called the play and handed off to our first running back, and nobody got the ball, and defense stopped him cold. Wow, Coach Denver didn't like that too much. So then they gave it to Mr. Segundo, our other running back. He went up the middle, nothing doing, no gain. Defense was fired up. They said, well, it's third down, let's give it to Todd Casey. Let's see what he can do. Up the middle, no gain. Lord, by this time there was one running back that hadn't carried the ball. That's right. Preacher, Julio Reyes. And he said, Coach, give me the ball, I'll score. So we lined up, sure enough, hand off to Preacher, breaks through the line, keeps on running, and right smack it to the forklift. And he's knocked out, and the coaching staff runs over there. They want to make sure he's okay, and they get up to Preacher. Preacher, are you okay? He says, yeah, Coach, but that last guy can really hit. I want to go ahead and introduce our head table at this time. Beginning to my left, we have our defensive coordinator, Coach Frankie Alonso, and his wife. We have our offensive coordinator, Coach Keller, and his wife, Tracy. Our head coach and the coach of the year this year, none other than Sonny Delight himself, Sonny Detmer. And his wife, Betty. Guy that needs no introduction, going to be in the Hall of Fame coaching pretty soon, our athletic director, Roy Garcia. He's already a Hall of Famer in the Rio Grande Valley Hall of Fame. To my right, best superintendent in the Rio Grande Valley and the state, in my opinion, Mr. Ralph Cantu and his wife, Dolores. And the president of our touchdown club, and if we had been here longer, we let him be the MC. We'd be here before the Cowboys started tomorrow. Danny Gerlach and his wife, Barbara. Out in the audience, we have some people we'd like to recognize. We're awfully blessed in Mission. We have some great personnel, and there's none better principal than our high school principal, Mr. Gus Zapata. I believe one of our assistant principals is next to him, Mr. Omar de la Rosa. We have, or I know I saw her, one of our school board members, Connie Garza. I know she was here earlier. Connie, are you here? I know she was here earlier. We have one of our elementary school principals, Mr. George Cavazos. George, if you stand up. All right, we're going to move on to the program. I'd like to call up Jay Martinez to do the invocation. Out of order, but nonetheless.
Bow heads, please. Dear Lord, we'd like to give thanks to you for giving us a great season and a safe season. We thank you for letting us gather here tonight to celebrate such a wonderful football football season. We thank you for the food that you gave us tonight. For all this, amen.
All right, following through with the Pledge of Allegiance, Willie Vela, the man in the middle.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, to bid you welcome tonight on behalf of the football players, number 5, Senior Tony Pye.
Good evening. On behalf of the Mission Eagles and Coach Detmer, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Mission Touchdown Club Football Awards Banquet. This is only a small token of our appreciation for the support provided by our parents, fans, coaches, administrators, and the Touchdown Club. I sincerely thank you for joining us this evening. We hope you enjoy the scheduled activities. Thank you. I'd just like to take this time to thank Coach Alonso. I thank you for giving me a chance to play. At first, I wasn't sure of myself to go to defense, but it turned out to be a good decision. Coach Alonso, in my book, you're Coach of the Year. Thank you.
All right.
A little later on down. Is this on?
Now it's on? Okay. Down the program, we'll introduce coaches and things. I'll be back up in a few minutes, I suppose. Is that right? Just stay up there. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to, anytime you win and anytime you have an organization, there are a lot of people responsible for winning. And we've got, I'd like to thank, the Touchdown Club for this meal and the banquet tonight. They do an excellent job providing extra funds for us in the football program. And that's something that's really nice, community support that they have here at Mission. So I'd like to thank them. The central office group, Mr. Cantu, and he's a very supportive superintendent. And the people here at administration, the school administration, they really think a lot of athletics, and it's nice that a community has people in their administration, administrative offices that feel the way they do about athletics. Because obviously, I'm a supporter of athletics, and I know through the year, we lost a couple games right there early, and Mr. Cantu didn't appreciate the fact that he never writes me notes when we lose. When we win, well, he really he sends us. He always takes the time to send a note. And I really appreciate those notes because it's it's his support and his way of thanking us, I guess, for putting the effort into it and playing the games. But he's a tremendous person for our football team, football program, and that support comes from the top of the school board and through Mr. Cantu. But Mr. Cantu is an excellent person and an excellent friend of athletics. I'd like to thank Mr. Zapata, our principal. You can't get any more cooperation out of a person than you get from Mr. Zapata. And he helps us in every possible way that we can be helped. And if we're not successful, it certainly doesn't come from administration and from central office or from the principal's office. And I'd like to thank Coach Garcia. Coach Garcia and I have had a really neat relationship. And I don't think there's ever been a crossword between the two of us ever in 5 years. When you can work with a person and work that closely with someone and never have a disagreement about anything, I think it really is a nice statement to be able to make. So we get tremendous support from those people, and it makes it a lot easier to win when you have that support from them. And they do everything here for the kids at Mission to make them successful and give them every opportunity to be successful. And I, for one, I really appreciate that, and I know the people of Mission do. The maintenance department, Mr. Castillo, I know a lot of times, boy, it's really tough on them, and it's hard to get all of that stuff done before they've got a good system of lining the field, getting all the stuff ready, and we have a first-class stadium and a first-class place to play football, and it's largely due to those guys right there. They put a lot of time into it, and a lot of effort, and we'd really like to thank them. Mrs. Pena is Coach Garcia's secretary. She's a tremendous lady, and she and Mrs. Martinez, Coach Martinez, when it gets down to playoff time, they have ticket sales to go through, and it's a tough job. And so some of you people that come up here for tickets and everything, and call them names and stuff like that, because it's awful hard. It's awful hard on the ticket sales and things, and they get a lot of bad phone calls. Why can't I get 35 tickets? And everybody gets ready for the playoffs, and they want a lot of tickets. And those two ladies do a tremendous job in the ticket department, especially at playoff time. But it's like I say, it's a first-class organization that they run here. And y'all that make those calls, you know what you say. Bad things, man. But she puts up with it, and it really does a good job. So we really appreciate Mrs. Payne. I guess starting with our group that we work with all the time, it has to do with coaches, trainers. We'll start with our secretary, Elma Navarro. Elma, would you stand up, please? She's one of our student secretaries, and she handles the afternoon stuff. We had a young man that was really good and helped us in the mornings, and he left, moved to Washington, I think, and so he's not with us tonight. We had some film assistants this year. Manuel Bezo, Abraham Ibanez, and Jeffrey Moore. You guys can stand. These guys right here do a great job for us, and the season's over, and they're still racing out there every day. They're the first ones in the field house after school. But we really appreciate the job those guys did for us, because they did a lot of work and a lot of hard work. And they film every day at practice. They're there every day just like the players. They probably stay later than the players do. And they really put a lot of time and effort into it, and they're very conscientious guys. And really proud to have them out there. Our team managers were Mario Salinas, Felix Rios, and Mike Flores. If those guys are here, would you please stand? I know Mario's probably out there someplace, but he never stands. He always sits in the back, and he's pretty inconspicuous on things. But those guys do a great job. Coach Farias. Romeo Farias, would you stand, please? This guy right here is in charge. This guy did an excellent job for us this year, because he's in charge of all those guys, and really does a bang-up job with our equipment things out there, and has taken a lot off of the coaches and field house supervision and everything, and it's really been a tremendous situation for us, and I'd like to thank him for all his hard work and things that he did. Physical therapist is Michael Davis. Is Mike Davis here? I don't know if he's here tonight. Team physicians were Dr. Marquez and Dr. Pettis. If either one of those are here, would you stand, please? I didn't see them. Our student trainers. If we have student trainers here, when I call your name, would you stand, please? Eric De Leon, Mandy Cavazos, Cynthia Cruz, Daisy Salinas, Monica Blanco, Renee Reyes, Don De Leon, Gracie Villarreal, Anna Rodriguez, Sandra Acevedo, and Jennifer Duncan. If any of the student trainers are here, I'd like to have them stand. They do a lot of work out there for us, and boy, they're tremendous help for our trainers with Kathy Armstrong and Robert Aparicio. If they're here, would they stand? Bobby keeps everybody kind of put together with tape and things like that, and that's the lounge area, and we need a couch in there when they got problems. We can go in there and lay down and talk to him about it. On the coaches, I'd like to have the coaches and try and get your wives if their wives are here. Brett Southhurst, would you please stand? These are the freshman coaches. Coach Southhurst, Coach Martinez, and Coach Womack are in the press box with me, and I'm a laid-back guy, so they kind of keep me stirred up there once in a while. And if any of you want to hear good stories, we'll get Cyril Ochoa corralled or get Southhurst corralled sometime. They probably have some pretty good stories they can tell you about a laid-back guy. It doesn't stay laid back up there all the time, so. Mr. Cantu waits for me out there every once in a while. Let's see, Chuck Flodine, and is Chuck here? Your wife, Anita? You stand here? Now, Chuck Flodine was a volunteer coach for us this year, and we really appreciate you being out there because this guy gives all of his time. He's not on the coaching staff. He doesn't get paid for it, and he does it because he really likes the sport, likes football. And we really certainly appreciate you being out there because you did a tremendous job and a lot of help for us this year. Kit Pelfrey. Is your wife here, Cindy? And Robert Nino. I don't think Robert's here tonight, but let's see our sophomore coaches. We're Oscar Martinez. Is Oscar here? Missy? And Joe Martinez and his wife Nora. Is Joe here? And Rodney Womack and Cindy, his wife. On our varsity coaching staff, you know, it's like I get Coach of the Year deal. My name goes on that thing, but I do very little of the coaching out there on the field. And these guys here, I tell you, I'm so proud of our coaching staff this year because what a work ethic and what job they did this year and what tremendous effort they put into it. And you don't know how much work that takes and how much time it takes. And they go above and beyond the Call of Duty, way beyond the Call of Duty. And I thought as far as like coaching and working at it and really bearing down on these guys and keeping them going and really keeping that intensity going, that their coaches did probably as outstanding a job this year as any time I've ever been coaching. And these guys were tremendous and were just really outstanding this year. So it's really, you know, it's their award. It gets my name on it, but everybody voted for Mission and their coaching staff's what they did. And these guys were really super. Mike Ringen and Darcy. Ringen's also my main man on the elementary pep rallies. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but on Fridays, we get to go to the pep rallies out there, and we got great stories about that. But Mike always gets a group, and he goes with me in one of these little elementary schools. They have pep rallies, and they go crazy. They even got horns out there. These little horns, these little kids, and they got horns that blow, and they got those little boat horns, and it's hilarious. And boy, do they have tremendous spirit. And we always make it a point that any elementary school calls, we always try and send guys and go because they like to see the players, and it helps those little kids and keep Mission football strong for a long time because they all grow up wanting to be Eagles. And I got to tell it on you, Mike. I mean, this is great. But we decided we were going to Waits Elementary, and so we said, well, it's 5.5 mile, but at Trosper Road, and so I left early in the morning, and I'm headed down there, and so I get to the school, and they're not there yet. But I said, well, you know, they should be here in a few minutes. And I was talking to J.D. Villarreal, the principal over there, and I said, well, they should be here in a few minutes. And then a couple of our guys showed up. I think Mondo Okanyi was there, and he came in, and I said, hey, where are the rest of those guys? And he said, I don't know. He said, they'd already gone when we got there. They weren't there yet. And so I said, golly, I wonder where they are. And I said, I hope nothing happened to them, you know, on the way. And so pretty soon I look up and they're standing back at the back door, and they come in and they're all smiles and everything, you know, and they come walking up, and It was 5.5 mile Trosper, and they got 5.5 mile La Homa, and La Jolla built a new elementary school at that same spot. And I think it was Oscar and the receivers, and I know Ricky Rendon was in that group, I think, and so they came in and said, "Hey, where you guys been?" And they were all laughing, and they said, "Well, we walked into this elementary school out there, and it was 5.5 La Homa, and we got on the wrong road, and there was an elementary school there, so we went in, and some guy was in there, and he was wearing black and red with La Jolla on it." And he says, so we looked, and he says, "Golly," I thought, I wonder why that guy's wearing a La Jolla shirt. And then Oscar says, he tells me, he says, "Coach, I thought we might be in the wrong place," because he said the announcements came on, and somebody on the announcement says, "Anybody that's wearing red today for Spirit Day, come by the office and pick up your prize." I guess they were giving little suckers out to the ones that wore red for Spirit Day. And he says, "Red?" He says, "We were in maroon. We were in maroon. I don't know what they're talking about. Red, and why is this guy wearing this La Jolla shirt?" So then this guy says, "Well, this is La Jolla School District." And see, our guys go in, and they got their game jerseys on and everything, so there's no doubt about where they were from. And so they were playing Edinburgh that week, and so Mike being the guy that he is, he says, "Well," he says, "we'd like to see y'all beat Edinburgh. If you want to go ahead and have a pep rally over here, we'd be glad to have one." So then they made it to our pep rally. But almost every week we had a real neat incident happen there, and that one was more memorable than the others probably. But anyway, we had a great time this year going to those elementary pep rallies, and I really appreciate Mike going and taking the extra time, and the players taking the extra time, because our players have to realize how much that means to the little kids and things, and they really enjoy seeing them. AC Deanda, Coach Deanda, Ricky Lozano, Coach Pompa is in Waco at the baseball clinic up there this weekend. They always have a big baseball meeting up there, so he couldn't be here tonight. David Gilpin, Steve Bottichea, Joe Gonzalez, varsity guys. I want you varsity guys just to go ahead and stand. We got a lot of them here. We suited out about it. Football team right here. And I'll tell you, you feel like you're going to coach as long as you're in the school business. I do. And I've really had a good time. 3 real good ball clubs that I had. And it wasn't the winning and things so much. It was their attitude and the way they went at things, and the way they practiced, the way they worked, their intensity, their desire to play. And I'll tell you, this team right here will be one of the top ones in my memory forever, because they were tremendous this season. And they made big plays when you had to make big plays. But the main thing was every day in practice, it was consistent. It was the same. We had guys that made all district, and we had guys that got a lot of recognition, which means that they really got some individual things that were pretty good. But as far as a team, we really had no individuals. Everybody on that team contributed, and a lot of guys contributed to us winning the district championship. We had great depth. We had a lot of guys that could play, and just a tremendous attitude, and that attitude carried these guys through. And I think it's something that they'll remember the rest of their lives too, because to be a district champion in a 10-team district where everyone is basically pretty equal, you have to go above and beyond the call of duty, so to speak. You got to play above your head, and you got to play above your head all the time. And we had guys that made some tremendous plays this season to win ball games for us that you can't say enough about the effort that they put into it and their intensity. And the thing about it is there were no stars out there. They became stars later. But in their minds, the way they practiced and the way they played, we didn't have stars out there. We had just great intensity and great players and a great team and great team attitude. And we're going to go ahead and get on with the presentation of our awards. That's what we came here for tonight, was to honor our players. We give out a lot of awards this year because we had a lot of equal players. Now, one thing about the awards, we've tried to include as many of our guys in the awards as we can, and there's always got to be a line there, and there's no intention at all to neglect any kid or anything like that, but invariably you always end up, maybe somebody could have gotten one a little bit higher, a little bit better, a little bit this, and we've tried to spread these things around and not give, a bunch of them to one guy or anything like that, because we had such a great team effort with so many guys playing so good that a lot of guys are participating in the awards tonight. And what we've done is we've taken a lot of categories and we've tried to place the guys, and where it was equal, we put several in there. And, if we had an equal situation, and we put several guys in that situation, but we tried to put the guy in the category that he fit the most. And that's the key, I think, fit the most. Some of these guys could have gotten 4 and 5 awards. You could have put them in every category. But we've tried to spread it around to where everyone got the recognition. Like I say, we've got several of these guys back next year. I think Coach Alonzo did an outstanding job this year of playing a lot of people, and we've got a nucleus of a defensive team coming back next year that has tremendous experience. We put a lot of guys on the field. It's a little bit harder maybe for us to do it in some cases, especially because of offensive line, because that offensive line has got to be a unit, and you can't break that unit up as much. So it's a little harder to play guys there, but we have a good nucleus of players coming back in our skill position that they got a lot of playing time this year. But we had outstanding leadership from the seniors, because once again, there were no stars out there, and there wasn't anybody walked around and acted like one. They played like it, and they were stars on Saturday morning when the newspaper came out, but they were never stars going through the week. They were never stars playing the game that night. So when you get all these stars, sometimes they decide, well, I'm a star, I don't have to play hard, and then they don't become one on Saturday morning. So Saturday morning's the important time when you pick up that paper. That's when you need your name in there. And we had a lot of guys who did tremendous things this year, and this was a great, great football team right here. And a team is the key to it. Everybody participated in this team and did great things. And we had great guys to coach and work with. And I really appreciate their efforts. And it'll be one that I remember forever. Let's go. We're going to take the offensive awards first and the defense, and we have some special awards at the end, about 4 or 5 special awards at the end. These are guys right here. One thing I'd like to say too, with the spirit and the way a team gets its gets its fuel during the season is they get a love for each other that they really like to. They have a good time with each other. They have a lot of fun. I think one of the things as a coach, when the season ended this year, our team was real upset about it. They were pretty emotional about it, and they hated to see the season end. So as a coach, that you're doing some good things with them, because when kids hate to see the season end, I had somebody talk to me that that was in the playoff. They were a playoff team. They lost their first game in the playoffs, and somehow through the season, the attitude and the desire to play and the whole thing, that disappeared for those guys. And somebody told me, said, geez, you know, the bad thing is when the kids, they said, boy, you know, they were really glad the season ended. It was a long season. They were just beat down, and they just didn't want it anymore. And our guys were not that way at all. And you really appreciate that as a coach, because these guys, when the season ended, they would have liked to still play, and I would have liked to still been on the field with them, coaching them and playing with them. And so, you know, when you have that type of situation, it's really, really nice for you as a coach. Our first award is top newcomer, and we had 3 people that we figured were just, I mean, you couldn't hardly pick from because of top newcomer. These are guys that produced good results in there. We got into a thing called rollerball last year. We made a couple little changes as we went through the thing, and I think one of the biggest changes that we made, we put Joyce Segundo. You'll come up here. We put Joyce Segundo. At the halfback spot, and he ran the ball, but the main thing he did was block, and this guy can go ahead, I mean, he can pound you. This guy's tough, he lifts weights, he did a great job of blocking on the thing, and he made that particular phase of our offense, he made it what it was as much as anything else. And this guy right here did a tremendous job, and the best thing is he's back next year. Another one of our top newcomers, this guy started out the season, well, we knew he could catch the ball and he could really play good, and he kept going and he kept getting better and kept getting better. And he's a late mature, he's a young guy, still probably had 2 more years of eligibility. I wish he was still here 2 years. But, I mean, this guy really got to where he was a tremendous player for us and did some great things for us, made big catches for us, and that's Kelly Bass. Another that we fit into that category as top newcomer was a guy that, you know, we'd sit there and he'd play, and if we were in passing situations and things, I mean, we played him a lot, and if we were in run type things, we kind of took him out, and at the end of the year, he got to run and play, and he ended up being one of these guys going into the playoffs. He made great plays in several ball games for us in the playoffs and at the end of the year, and made a great play and a great catch at the end of one of the ball games to win the game for us. I think it was in the MAC High game, and was a tremendous kid for us. He's back again next year, and really did an outstanding job of playing, and was a big play guy, and just, I'm really looking forward to having him back here next year, and he's really a good football player and doing a great job, and that's Angel Pettis. Is Angel here? We'll make sure he gets his award. Okay, most improved. This category here, as like I say, you start talking about all these situations and all these players. We could put a lot of guys in all these situations, but we tried to pick the ones that were, you know, the top ones, and then if we got close, we just had to give 2 awards. But most improved players coming from last year to this year and getting themselves ready to play and doing an outstanding job for us. We had one was Bobby Ledesma. Bobby. The year before this, we had Bobby out there, and this is how much he improved. I told him we were out there at a JV game, and at halftime I told Bobby, I said, hey, when we run wedge is a brutal play. This is time for us to intimidate this team and get this guy, and he was playing JV ball, and I said, Bobby, look, I said, you just keep going up the field and just keep your head right in there and just keep going, and if you look down and you see anything on the ground that's not ours, stomp on it or fall on it or do anything but punish it. And so pretty soon the game starts. Do you remember this at all? Good. This is true. This is not like Cyril Choi's stories. This is a true story. But he says, okay, Coach, you know, the other way he's questioning me about this. I said, yeah, that's what it's for. I said, this is brutal. You got guys helping you, and these guys go down, just keep going. And if it centers, just step on it if you have to. But he did it after the whistle blew, and they penalized him 15 yards. And he's like, after the game, he's like, Coach, I did what you told me to do. I said, Bobby, when the play's going on, not after it's over on the way back to the huddle. He like turns around and gets them coming both ways, coming and going. But this guy really had a good year for us and did a good job for us this year. And really played good for us. And the other one came up, and this guy's really a good athlete. We've had guys that played this position before that could have run the ball, caught the ball, probably thrown the ball. This guy's really an outstanding athlete and had an outstanding season for us this year. And we've had a history of pretty good ones at this position, and he's in that same mold, and that's J.J. Cavazos. Now this award here has to do with production because we've got guys that played through the season and really did super things for us, like everybody knows. And you got to have people make plays. And these guys here were guys that made great plays. And at the end of the year, because of being a passing team and because of being able to run the ball some during that passing team, setting one, pass sets up the run, run sets up the pass, we have a lot of guys playing, but we have guys that play that maybe don't have the great statistics because they don't have enough carries or they don't have enough catches or they don't handle the ball quite enough. But they do great things when they handle it and they make plays to win games for you. And we've got guys here that all of you see play. They did a super job for us during the year. And in our season, we won 9 games, and we could probably go back through the season and take all of the games, and maybe these 4 guys right here probably contributed as much as anybody to winning those ball games. And most productive, first one would be Javier Moreno. We had these guys during the season. I was talking about, guys having a good rapport with each other and having a lot of fun. Javier and Julio Reyes. Is Julio here? No, he's not here. Javier and Julio Reyes got into a cartoon battle, like a cartoon strip with Ricky Rendon and some of his cohorts. And I took all of those off the board and saved them because they are classics. Well, see, Ricky did all of the stuff, and he might have gotten some advice from people about what to put in, because we had characters on our team, and everybody had a great time teasing each other. And so Ricky started this comic strip deal, and he put 2 or 3 of them up there. And so Javier and Julio Reyes, the creature, they decided they would collaborate on them. And so I think Mother did the drawing on his, which was a lot worse than Ricky's, and Julio Reyes put the words in, which was a lot worse than Ricky's, and they could never get even with him, but they came real close. It was really getting to be a good battle, and then evidently Julio probably put a little muscle on everybody, and all the paperwork stopped. So, but they had a good time, and I kept all those cartoons in there because they were really classics. They were really fun to read, and they kind of blitzed each other back and forth, and they kept everybody really loose. The whole team was laughing about those types of things. But our next productive player came in, did a really good job, and played part-time, but he made big plays in big situations to help us win several ball games, and really had a good season, good work ethic, good work habits and everything, and really appreciated him having out there, and he was really a good change of pace for us because he could really run the ball good and did a lot of other outstanding things with Danny Flores. See, we always accuse Danny of, he lives right next to Mario Pena. We always accuse him, hey, don't give our secrets away and the whole deal, but he might have given some of them away, but he didn't give away the run when he ran the ball on on the sprint out passes because he broke every time on it. Mario didn't know it was coming. So Danny's a real eagle. He didn't tell him anything. Another one that made big plays that just had an outstanding year, could have probably been put up there for most improvements. Like I said, this guy could have got 2 or 3 awards on the thing, but had a really good season and made big things happen and really came onto his own this year. And I thought he did an excellent job for us and made some really big plays for us with Ricky Rendon. We have one more that you could give this guy every award on our team, I believe, this year. Just a tremendous player, and he's back next year. I don't know how many games this guy won for us, and you watch the highlight films, you see number 1 on there a lot. You see 23s on there catching things, 30. You see all those numbers and everything like that, 7. And I'll tell you what, if there's a better one in the valley than this one, I'd like to see him, and that's 88. All right, we had an outstanding offensive line, 2 of them up here right now, and we've got a top blocker award, outstanding blocker. This is a guy that made great blocks, was a super player for us, did a great job for us, and he ended up getting some of these cheap shots on backside pass protection, and he just got to where he was liking it. And he is the opposite tackle from Big Ray Rayner. It is Joe Velasquez, and Joe Velasquez did a tremendous job for us this year, and he and Ray kind of got to where on sprint out pass, they block backside all the time. And Joe, if you'll come up and get your blocking award right there. This guy smashed people this year, and it was really fun to watch on film. Because we had an offensive line that he took a lot of pride in pancakes, and it was fun to watch him play. Our outstanding running back this year. Guy caught the ball, blocked, did everything, broke, tremendous speed, great quickness. Really had a good season for us and really helped us win our games. And he was a guy right there. We put in a special play for him, sweeping things. He was so fast. And our outstanding back this year was Todd Casey. Our top lineman this year was a guy that made a lot of calls, worked around in there, and talked a lot, our prayer leader, and just did a tremendous job on everything he did, and had a lot of spirit, great spirit guy, Jay Martinez. We go on the top receiver thing. We've been so much of a passing threat in the Valley, and not only Valley, but statewide over the last several years, and a couple of years before I even got here. We give an outstanding wide receiver award, and this guy did a tremendous job for us this year. Played some quarterback last year. We moved him to another position, and boy, he took to that thing like a duck takes to water, and really helped us win a lot of ball games this year. He was more of a possession type guy, and really ran good pass routes and caught balls in traffic, and got a lot of recognition this year on the extra awards throughout the Valley, and it was Ray Alvarez. When you talk about the most valuable player on offense, we had some guys make great plays, but we had one guy that really got hot this year, worked his tail off, literally in off season, sat in the parking lot for a little while when we started the season. But it got hot during the season, and just came on, did great things for us, had great ball games, great leadership, and hit everything just right on the money, and took us way up the road. And you can't say enough about leadership and what this guy did for our team and everything. And our most valuable player on offense was Oscar Villarreal. Okay, we got Coach Alonso, and then we've got about 4 other awards after this. So I want you guys to bear with us a little bit. Coach Alonso gives me.
I want to just take a second, if I could. As many of you know me well, some of you don't know me so well. Many of you know I'm not afraid to speak my mind, anytime, anywhere. And Dina starts crying over there. I want you to know that it wasn't my fault. And one of the things I was taught a long time ago was to say thank you. And I do want to thank everybody here. I want to thank the four men who brought me here and hired me. But most of all, I want to thank Rosina, myself, and Nicolina for making us feel very welcome to your family. You know, in a time when they call all of you me generation people, you know, you haven't showed that to me. You know, where they say TV and the fast win and the quick win and the selfishness, that doesn't exist in this school. And it's because of the community, because of the leadership, because of the goodness that you've instilled in your children that makes this program the best one, and one that people are very, very, I want to say, fear. I mean, there's a fear of mission people amongst other schools and athletics and academics. And I really do want to say thank you for allowing us to come into your community. Thank you. We started a long time ago to build this defense. We asked the senior group to take the leadership. We asked guys to change positions. We asked players to become anything we wanted. There's never been a gripe, never been a complaint, and it's very difficult to single out people. This is the hardest thing that I can say. I mean, you can't say this guy did better than that guy, and we played a lot of players. But we're going to single out some guys tonight, and I really appreciate them. A lot of them are seniors, and some of them are underclassmen. And every one of them, in their own way, gave up of themselves and all they had to make this season a success. If I ramble, that's what I am, a rambler. All right, Defensive Tackle Award, the top defensive tackle. A guy who came into the season, could have had a knee surgery from the year before, had no anterior crucial ligament in his knee, but moved from middle linebacker when we asked him, led the defensive line in tackles, or if he didn't, let me know. Jesse Escamilla. At the defensive end position, we have 2 players, and I'll tell you when they're co-awards. Again, it's very difficult to split up a team, and that's why we'll have to give out 100 awards, but that's the way it goes. It doesn't water them down if you've been successful. At the defensive end position, there are 2 players that will receive this award. One of them is Whitney Miller, and the other is Tomas Villegas. But both of these guys really, truly dominated their position in the district. And to be truthful with you, when you play good team defense, it's very difficult for everyone to receive all honors, all district. And that's why I'm not really listing them here to the individuals who made it. I just feel like that when you have 2 players like Tomas and Whitney at the same position, and you put them both up for different categories, they take votes away from each other when other coaches vote. But I don't remember any 3 players in the district ever dominating offensive lines more than they did. And that's our defensive line, seniors defensive line for the last year. top linebacker award. Again, we had 3 linebackers, all of which could get this honor. The coaches had pulled together and kind of voted and crossed back and cross and all this other thing, but this year's top linebacker goes to Travis Hardy. Two top defensive backs. The first defensive back spoke here already this evening. I couldn't have wrote that speech any better if when I told him to say it. So it couldn't have worked out any better, but anyway, Tony Pius. The other defensive back, the top defensive back, came over to us from the offense. Almost had a heart attack and decided to come over, and he made a selfless commitment to play well. He was our punt returner, he was a kickoff returner, and we ran the reverse once or twice this year.
Once.
One for one on the reverse, Leo Salinas. Top newcomer. About December of last year, I had a conversation on the freshman locker room with somebody. I had a conversation, I said, hey, how'd you like to think about being a corner? He kind of looked at me like I was crazy. Again, the guy who came over to the defensive side from the offensive side, made a selfless commitment, even though he was a receiver who had caught passes and touchdown passes the year before. Surprised everyone with his ability to tackle. Notice I didn't bring Leo's ability to tackle up just yet. Kind of gets them all low. Ricky stood in there, tackled with the best of them, and I'm very proud that he came over, and I'm proud of his accomplishments. Ricky Sierra. Most improved. Here's a guy, when we divided the groups up last year, wasn't even on the list. He came out of nowhere. Just refused to quit. He's sitting back there thinking, is he going to say my name or not? Orlando Garza. Some people say this next award would probably be a no-brainer, but in my case it might take a little thinking, so we had to poll the coaches, and to be honest with you, many felt like Corbin Epps might have been the best player in the Valley, but there was only one consensus all-district selection, which means of all the coaches in the district, he got all first-place votes. No other player did that, and that includes Corbin Epps and whatever that guy's name over is in La Jolla. That was the defensive player of the year, but he was a consensus all-district player. Very happy that he came back out, an outstanding soccer player, an outstanding person, Luis Cannon. Did I say it right? Right off the field. Second place in the corner. Because that was such an easy award, there was one other guy that did a great job covering kicks, working out on special teams, and played a lot as a linebacker, and he's going to be kind of surprised he got an award, Mike Contreras. He's going to be so surprised when I give it to him on Monday. Okay, we can change it now. All right. Now, these next awards are kind of, they get them by achieving a certain amount of points and/or our leading tackler. So there was no voting. This just ended up being a scoring type situation. And our leading tackler this year was Willie Bella. I do want to say something about Willie. Willie's a special person, and he'll be successful no matter what he does. I know he's going to go to school next year. He talked about being an engineer, and when I used to go to school, I used to be a railroad engineer, but I don't think he meant that. And he's the head of the FFA, head of the FCA. I don't want to say president of the senior class. I mean, he's got so many honors. What is he? He's the secretary. Well, Jay, I forgot. He's the secretary of the senior class. He is a role model for many young people. And I will say this, that the most productive per tackles, per interceptions, sacks, fumble recovery, fumble causes, etc., and 209 points. He was the leading player by, I think, 35 or 40 points. I'll have to check with my two statisticians to my left because they're going to correct me if I'm wrong. See, Jesse and Travis, they're going to correct me if I'm wrong. They're not going to correct me either. But anyway, we decided this year to give out the top 3 productive players because it's very difficult to say this guy was more productive than this guy and so forth. But all 3 of these players were well into the 200-point range. So Trey Helly had 209, and each of these guys achieved over 250 points. Now, to the layperson, that really doesn't mean anything. But productivity is the bottom line on defense. The end result, tackles, sacks, turnovers. They contributed to a season where we had 37 turnovers. And for those great mathematicians, in 12 games, that's a little over 3 points a game. We had 21 interceptions and 16 fumble recoveries. Okay, so all of these things that were added to the productivity of the defense were very, very important. The first place winner was, he's already up here already, it was Tony Piatt's. I'll just take a second to read you statistics so you can kind of understand. He had 72 tackles. 72 tackles, 1 fumble caused, 3 fumble recovery, 7 interceptions, 9 pass breakups, no sacks. Luckily, you don't have to free safety having too many sacks. The second place winner was Orlando Garza, who was also up here already. Orly had 83 tackles, 3 fumble causes, 1 fumble recovery, 3 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, 6 sacks, 6 hurries, and 1 score in the Edinburgh North game. Third place was Keith Gerlach, a strong safety. Keith had 78 tackles, 4 fumbles caused, 4 interceptions, 3 pass breakups, 7.5 interceptions, and 3 hurries, and would have led the team in sacks if it wasn't for Fruity jumping off sides 3 times, which cost them the lead. It was funny because every time Keith would get a sack, Fruity would jump off sides on a blitz. And when Fruity got the sack, Keith wouldn't jump off sides. So they kind of tried to work it out with themselves, but I don't think Keith ever caught on, so he ended up losing the sack title to Travis. But it worked out fine, and I'm very proud of these guys. We have, okay, the final award is our MVP player. Again, very difficult to pick any one individual. We polled the offensive coaches, and we came up with one guy. But again, before I leave the podium, I want to say one thing, that collectively, the unselfish attitude exists in this team today because of these guys. All right? And you can see it in the other sports teams in this school. It's unselfish effort that wins championships. All of the success and all the things everybody wants as an individual comes with being unselfish. And if they've learned anything in this season, it's to respect each other and to be unselfish when it comes to doing a hard chore or a yeoman's chore. And it's reflected in every sport in the school, as you'll see as the season pans out and every team continues to win. And it exists in the school, and because many people haven't been to a lot of schools as I have, and I hate to dwell on this point, but I don't want this team to leave without knowing what was accomplished. That can't be accomplished at a lot of places. Cannot. I've been to a lot of those places in college and everywhere. And maybe I have more experience or more places I've been than Coach Detmer, but I mean, that's not always a privilege. I mean, sometimes I can run out too. But what I'm saying though is if you can pull that together and pull it, it's a force that can't be beaten. It can't be beaten. And for whatever reason, it's now nurtured. And that team that's over there working right now in the off-season conditioning, they'll be the same way. Now, I don't know if they'll have as much success as this group, but if they continue with the hard effort and hard work, in my opinion, and Coach Detmer's and this staff, there's no stopping the next 2 teams, or 3 teams, or 4 teams. It's something you have that's very precious, that this town has, that every other town wants. Every other town wants it. They want your people, and they want you. So I want to thank you, and we'll award the MVP trophy to Travis Hardy.
Now we have a few special awards here at the end. We give an academic award, and this is to the top-ranking football player each year. We've had valedictorians and everything, and we have a lot of guys up pretty high in the class, top quarter of the class. Our highest ranking football player this year, academic award, goes to Armando Ocaña. Spirit and Desire Awards this year. We give one to an offensive, one to a defensive player. And I think our players know, about these two guys, especially because of the spirit and desire that they have and the leadership abilities that they have. But, if you have a knee injury, it takes a lot of desire to come back from that thing and a lot of work in order to get back into the football program and get back to playing again. And the first award goes to Jesse Escamilla. And when you talk about spirits, you talk about Jay Martinez. Jay. All right, our last award of the evening is the Big Eagle Award. Now this goes to guys, we got guys sometimes that are too aggressive. We got guys that are not aggressive enough. We got guys that maybe they can't get along with the whole group, and they fit themselves in and they get in their spot. And we become real successful because we got great kids and great players. And on our Big Eagle Award, this goes to a guy that is an outstanding player. We got one on defense and one on offense. Goes to outstanding player, a guy that epitomizes what you would like to have as a coach and a football player. The type guy that when he walks in there, you just brighten up and you love to see this guy every single day. And both of these guys were tremendous players for us, tremendous leadership. This has to do with all of the qualities that you could put together in football and football players, all of the qualities. And our Big Eagle Award for a defensive guy goes to Willie Vela. And once again, it goes to a guy that's very special. And this guy, well, we loved him on offense, and he was one of the most tremendous guys that I've ever had the pleasure of coaching. And his brother won this award a couple years ago, and I thank the world of him, thank the world of his family. He's a cousin of Willie Vela's, I heard anyway. So that it runs in the family. There's a good strain of gold running through this family, and that's Ray Rayner. If we leave anybody out, well, we're sorry about that because everybody contributed to this team. But we can give so many awards and so many things. But everybody on this team, we had some guys that didn't play a lot, but they were great contributors. They were there every day. We had to have guys go practice against, and you really appreciate those guys and their efforts that they put into playing football for us. And a lot of these guys, I've talked to several colleges. I've talked to a lot of small colleges, big colleges. Medium-sized colleges. We got a lot of guys that if they want to go and they want to continue to play, most of these guys will get an opportunity to play someplace, and if they want to. And college football is awful tough. I was laughing with one of the recruiters. I said, these guys come out. We won the district championship. They had a great season. They did a tremendous amount of work. They're good kids. They're good players, but they're seniors and they're as big and as strong and as smart as they've ever been. And they think they're going to walk into college, even a small school, and just dominate the place. And what they haven't realized yet, they're going to be going against 23, 24-year-old seniors that have been doing this thing for 4 years against men. And even you can go to a very small school at NAIA, and you might run into players, and you'll play against players that are 2 inches short of the NFL and maybe 1 step short of the NFL. And so it's not as easy as it sounds just going to a school and playing, because you're going to play against NFL quality players. And so you've got to take that time, and you've got to be patient, and you've got to spend that freshman year and sophomore year maybe on the bench, but stay there. Because the important thing is when you guys go, and all you guys get a chance to go to school, go on to college, go on and get your education, because you're going to have a lot better life because of it. And you went to school to get the education, not to play football. Playing football helps you get through it and makes it a lot easier time for you. And as many of you as can go, you need to go. So I'd like to see all of you go. I'd like to see all of you stay up there and wish all of this bunch right here. I wish everybody on this team the very best of luck. And their work habits and their efforts that they put into it, these guys are going to be successful at whatever they do. And they know they can be successful if they pay the price for it. And they've paid the price once, so it'll be easier the next time. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight, and I'll turn this back over to Mr. Ochoa, and we appreciate everyone and their efforts, and geez, what a great group of guys right here. They'll have pictures and things of the football players up here after the session. Thank you very much.
I don't know why it took 30 minutes to have a highlight film. You guys that are seniors, I know we're going to miss you, and you left some big shoes to be filled, and you juniors and sophomores, you have the big, big challenge ahead of you. At this time, I think Mr. Gerlach has some announcement.
Touchdown Club, I'd like to thank the coaches for their fine year. They put a lot of effort into it. I'd like to thank our cooks, Fernando Pena, Eduardo De Leon, Bernie Pena, Johnny De Leon, and Chris Czar, and Javier, also. Like you were, Also, during the year, we had hard, you busted your rear end. You had some failures when you started. You'll have some failures later on down the line. As long as you work hard, stay dedicated, you will always succeed. Good luck to you.
Please come to the podium.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to start off by thanking the Touchdown Club for making this be a great banquet. And I'd like to thank the coaching staff, especially Keller, that made me be a quarterback. I wasn't a quarterback. He made me a quarterback. And I'm very proud of that, Delonzo, he was a big part for me. He helped me out with the research paper and, I would like to really thank my team, because you guys, I remember when we were freshmen, we didn't have a great record. I think the only team we beat was Rio Grande, and we came a long way, and I want to say just thanks, thanks for being there, because that MVP flag they gave me, I really owe it all to you guys. I don't think without you, I wouldn't have gotten there. And besides that, I would like to thank my family. They're all here tonight. I got lots of support from them through the season. I really don't know. I'm nervous. But I also want to thank the cheerleaders. They're the ones that decorated all this stuff, Where's the trainers, Coach Armstrong, you know, because they were there when I got hurt. I mean, I remember them pulling me out of the game, you know, holding my stomach, Aparicio giving me pills, you know, you know. Thank them a lot. What else?
What's your got 5?
12.
12.
My number. What else? I know, I mean, I had him. All right, Mike Reagan, you know, all the time he'd always tease me and everything. You know, now you see, you know, what he told you about La Jolla. You know, we ended up over there. You know. I was following him. I would also like to thank them for they were there. Friday they would all wear maroon. They wear specific numbers. I never saw mine though. But I still want to thank them though. Like I said, you know, I really want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and you know, but most of all, you know, I give thanks to God that we didn't have some serious injuries this year. We came out on top. We weren't expected to come out on top. Like Detmer said, you know, we made big plays, and you know that helped us throughout the season. I'm sorry, you know, how it had to end, you know, at Eagle Pass. You know, I really wanted to go further. You know, there's just things that happen. You know, we can't control that. But I just want to come back to my family. You know, I've never said this in my whole life towards my dad and my mom. My mom's not here. You know, she just came out of the hospital 2 days ago, I think. You know, she has a real bad illness. But I want to take this time to say it now, because, I mean, this is the first time I ever get a flag. First time I'm ever up here, you know, talking to the crowd. But I want to say this to Dad, and I know they're recording this for my mom. I want to say I love you, and thanks for supporting me. You're the best parents I could have, and thanks a lot. That's all I got to say.
Oscar wanted me to let you know he'll be appearing on David Letterman next Tuesday. I think that about winds it up. We have our final event will be the benediction. But before he comes up, once again on behalf of the Touchdown Club, we want to thank you for coming here. It's obvious to everybody in this room. This was a special group of kids who did special things, who climbed that high mountain because they wanted to see what was on the other side, and we're so proud of you. Jay, would you come up?
Dear Lord, once again, I'd like to thank you for a wonderful year. I'd like to thank you for everything you've given us, our wonderful parents, great fans, great school we go to, awesome coaches. Lord, I ask you that you keep all my fellow players, safe as they go through their lives. Thank you for giving us the love during the year that we needed to pull together as a team. Thank you for tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Once a wrap. Thank you very much. We'll see you in August.